Welcome to the Edgeworth Echoes podcast, discovering Edgeworth's town, a hidden gem of Irish history.
Welcome to another edition of the Edgeworth Echoes podcast. This is your host, John.
Slater's Directory of 1856 lists Edgeworthstown as a small market town. The town is well served by a pure water spring. Civil affairs are handled by magistrates who hold petty sessions in a room over the marketplace, once every fortnight. The population of the town, according to the 1851 census, is 818 people.
In this episode, I explore the concept of dual identity in a town that goes by two names, Edgeworthstown and Mostram. I uncovered the reasons behind the dual identity, tracing this back through the town's rich history and the influences of local landlords and local people. From its early days as a settlement to its present-day status as a thriving community, the dual identity of Edgeworthstown and Mostram has played a crucial role in shaping the town's unique character and sense of place.
John's Church, and it's on the oldest ecclesiastical site in Edgeworthstown. It was founded by St. Beaton way back in the 6th century, and there were various mentions of churches here down through the years. In 1410, and it was mentioned as still being here in the Down Survey in the 16th century. We don't know when the present church was built.
And welcome to this Church of St. John's, Edgeworthstown. But back in the 6th century, a church stood somewhere in this area, either on the site of the present church or somewhere in this area. It was founded by a St. Beaton. His feast day is January the 24th. He died in 751 AD.
In the audio you just heard, we heard two men speak. The first was Ned Jeffers. Ned was a local bank employee and a keen historian. The second was the Reverend Canon Hudson, once rector of St. John's Church. Both of them talk about the founding of the church in the parish in the 6th century, founded by St. Beaton, also known as St. Beaton. Beaton was an early Christian saint associated with Ireland. He was believed to be a disciple of St. Patrick and was known for his missionary work in the region. While there is no definitive historical evidence indicating that St. Beaton built a church in Mostram or Mahastrim, he is often associated with the establishment of Christian communities and the construction of churches across Ireland during the early medieval period. The presence of St. Beaton in Mostram may have contributed to the development of Christian worship in the area, but specific details about any church construction attributed to him remain unclear. The Annals of Ulster are one of the most important historical sources for medieval Ireland. The Annals were compiled in Fermanagh in the late 15th and early 16th centuries under the patronage of the Maguires, Lords of Fermanagh. The Annals were an attempt at a complete history of the political and ecclesiastical world of early Christian and medieval Ireland. In AD 755, the Annals list the death of Ferranan, Bishop of Mahastrim. Other sources list his death as AD 751. The Down Survey of 1656 to 1658 lists the area as Mastrim, spelled M-A-S-T-R-I-M. Interestingly, it states there was no town in the area. A Franciscan friary was in existence in the town in the 15th century. It is likely that the local chieftains, the O'Farrells, were involved with the founding of this house due to the prestige associated with religious orders at the time. On 19th of January 1635, the Congregation of Propaganda Fide in Rome, acting on the authority of Pope Urban VIII, approved the transfer of the house to the friars. All these things suggest that there was a thriving community in the area since the 6th century or earlier, a community that required religious instruction, so a church and friary were built. The Down survey may state there was no town in the area, but I think it's safe to assume that where there was a community large enough to require a church, there was bound to be some local businesses like blacksmiths and cart makers, people who would make shoes and clothes, millers who would grind corn, oats and barley, and perhaps bakers to sell bread. In 1619, part of the area was seized by the Crown and granted to the Edgeworths. The first of these arrived in the town in 1619. We know that John Edgeworth built a castle in Cranley, which was burned during the 1641 rebellion. Later they lived at Lissard, before finally building the house we know as the manor today. We know the manor house was built in 1720 by Richard Edgeworth, grandfather of Maria, and the manor would have required an infrastructure: millers, blacksmiths, bakers, dressmakers, cobblers and wheelwrights, amongst others. The town would have grown around the manor at one end and the church at the other. So when did the name of the town become Edgestown? Who decided that the town should have this name?
Edgeworth Town, also known historically as Mostrim, first appeared on maps in the 18th century. Specifically, it was included in a map published in 1778 by George Taylor and Andrew Skinner, entitled Maps of the Roads of Ireland.
So it seems that by 1778 the name of the town was officially Edgeworthstown. It may have been that the Edgeworths adopted the name for official correspondence, or that officials outside the town referred to the town as Edgeworthstown, and that the name became official in that way. However, most locals continued to use the name Mostrim or Mahastrim, as many would speak Gaelic as well as English. In 1935, the local Tenants Association campaigned to make the name Mostrim the official name, but in 1974 it was changed back to Edgeworthstown by the local council. Edgeworthstown train station, opened in 1855, was known as Mostrim Station up until the early 1990s. Many locals still refer to the town as Mostrim, and some local organisations use the name Mostrim in their names. So this is a brief history of the town and its dual identity, and how it originated. I hope you liked listening to this episode. Be sure to follow us so you don't miss out on future episodes, and don't forget to share with your family and friends. Until next time. If you are interested in learning more about the Society and the history they preserve, please visit www.mariaedgeworthcentre.com. You can sign up to our newsletter, book tours, learn about our annual literary festival, and read up on some of the remarkable people who have links to our town.
This has been the Edgeworth Echoes podcast, rediscovering history.